Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 248th edition of Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Maybe. It opened in Australia on May 17th, 2025, an amazing date. It was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It is a spy action epic, and the synopsis says, "Our lives are the sum of our choices. Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning." That's one of those pre-release synopsises, which I enjoyed. All right. We saw this movie almost a week ago, opening weekend, which is fun. But as a result, try and remember it as well. That's, my notes were, I was trying to piece it all back together, to be honest. So Jaden read the Wikipedia, which is very helpful. I should have done the same. But all that to say, Jaden, what did you think of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the end to this franchise we've been reviewing for months?
Confusing. Confusing while watching, I'll say. Like after finishing, it was kind of clear thoughts that we can kind of get to. But like while watching it, the experience was very whack, especially in that first 20 minutes, as we discussed. Kind of exiting the theater. I really thought they dropped the ball. Like I was preparing myself for the worst, but then like I don't really think I've seen a film save itself so much. After like having like such a odd, I won't say poor because I don't think it was like it was weak. No, it was kind of weak. But after those weak 20 minutes, like the movie saved itself to incredible lengths. And it kind of left me a bit conflicted with like the kind of final McQuarrie Cruise outing in the franchise, but like I think I just think that they tried to do something different and didn't pay out at the start, but then like you get enough that like you still end up with a really solid Mission Impossible film afterwards.
Okay, all right, I hear you. I think I'm in your realm. It sounds like I didn't like it as much as you. I think it's very fair to say something was off in this movie, and I had a good enough time watching it for sure. It's too long. I felt Dead Reckoning was too long as well when I rewatched that, but that film still had a certain energy in it that this one lacked most of the time. And coming off of Fallout last week, where we're talking about, I have no idea how that movie is paced so well. It sort of feels like they didn't either. To be like, look, that sounds a bit harsh, harsher than I mean. But this film did show me that they had a secret sauce before, and the franchise peaked with Fallout, and that's cool. That's fine. I'm fine with that. So I'm sounding pretty negative, but the film also did have one of the most nutty and impressive things I've ever seen on screen in it. So it's certainly not all a downer. But in terms of your reservations about like the opening and stuff, like I will go a step further than you, and I think there is some odd choices throughout as well. But yes, I think that encompasses my semi-conflicted feelings, but a good time though. Fitzy, what about you?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I pretty much agree with what both of you said. Like, it just felt really odd. I mean, I guess especially in the first half, but I think throughout it just felt slower and like more stilted than the last like 4 films at least. I just think that like there's a lot of meandering, a lot of like conversation with like army officials and important people that just kind of don't really land. And then I think there are some there are impressive like sequences in this film, but there isn't as much like frenetic kind of action stuff that we usually get. So the whole experience is just kind of like, it's kind of like the submarine sequence, It's like you're slowly being led down into something that's impressive, but it's like this weird lead in to it,
Yeah.
And then this weird lead out as well. So
yeah.
But I did enjoy it for that submarine sequence and the plane sequence. I think they're both they're both pretty great. They're just very different to what we usually get. But yeah, in
Yeah.
terms of pacing and the score as well, maybe it's definitely a step down for sure.
Yeah, we
Mm.
were worried about that
I think it's
last
interesting that
week.
you seem to agree with him on the point about the meetings with the American officials being boring, but like I thought that was some great stuff. Well, not boring, but like just like kind of out of place. Or how'd you describe it, Lynn?
Oh wait, sorry, you were cutting out a bit for me. Like stilted.
Stilted. Yeah, I didn't feel that. I thought I thought some of those scenes were like, I don't know, quite riveting, and
Mm.
like you kind of talked about like um it doesn't have like some of the frenetic energy of like the previous ones, but like I guess you kind of include that in that. But like I kind of like I liked the fact that it traded off some of the energy for some of the weight of the drama of the kind of world ending type thing. And I think like those kind of
Mm.
stilted meetings kind of function as within that capacity for me.
Mm.
I don't think they were all stilted, but I just think some of them, like the Ted Lasso woman,
Yeah,
that
Hannah
felt awkward to
Waddingham being
me.
in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that felt so awkward. But I mean, I do like that they went for this kind of more serious angle where they had like actual like the world actually was affected and changed, and they had like the martial law thing, and they kind of had to justify that narrative decision with like interacting with these kind of officious people, I guess.
Mm.
And I think that did work in parts. Like this film did feel like it had a certain sense of weight to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
I,
just wasn't
I, I
always exciting, I guess.
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
I agree with you. Like I appreciate what they're attempting, and I like the weight that it adds. I like the context that it adds to like the political side, and I like the whole thing of the entity slowly taking over the nuclear arsenals, I guess, and then the US like every time you cut back to them and they're debating whether or not they should fire now or not. Like I think that's all good stuff and well thought out, and I appreciate what it adds, but there is just I don't think they struck the right balance pacing wise of how many of these scenes there are, and there's just so much talking in this movie, dude. Like no one shuts the fuck up. Like Tom, like the submarine dive. There's no dialogue like for a good 15 minutes, which was nice because holy shit, no one shuts the fuck up in the first like hour of this movie. I know this is Mission Impossible, and I know there's going to be exposition. That's totally great. But holy shit, I swear to God, there's never been this much. There was just so much exposition for like literally the first, I swear to God, like 1 hour of this movie was exposition. I swear to Jesus. And I was actively, to the point where like I was actively sitting there personally. I'm not someone who's like watching I haven't thought this once throughout this franchise as a point of comparison. We've watched 7 of these so far. This was the only Mission Impossible movie where I was actively sitting there thinking, can we please stop with the exposition and just get moving? Jesus, like, you know what I mean? Like that whole, it just kept going and going and going. There's all these different layers that they had to keep adding to it for the setup. I'm like, Jesus. Anyway, so that really dragged it down for me personally. I thought it was overboard. I don't know if you guys felt the same.
Like once again, I felt it was egregious in that first 20 minutes before the sizzle. The way that like Gabriel was saying, "Oh yes, the rabbit's foot," and then we'll cut to Tom Cruise stealing rabbit's foot, and then Tom Cruise will be like, "Ah, yes, the rabbit foot, a bioweapon that I stole." And then Grace goes, "The rabbit
Oh,
foot,"
right.
and he goes, "Yes, I stole it in China." And it's like that felt like too much. But then like I
Yeah.
thought everything. I think post that I didn't really think exposition was that bad, like that
Oh, really?
much worse than normal.
I think it was all like it did not stop until Tom Cruise, like I think until they took off from Hannah Waddingham's place, and then when he jumps in the ocean from the plane or the chopper or whatever it was, like everything leading up to that, it was just non-stop, dude. It was like he then goes to the goddamn. I mean, it's everything in the first 20 minutes for sure. Then he goes to the goddamn US bunker and there's like 20 minutes there. And then he goes to Hannah Waddingham and then the other characters go off to the other place. It's like, holy shit, they just do not stop explaining like the plot. It's like, oh my god, it was so much.
Yeah. I kind of get that, but like I think the stuff in the US bunker was kind of like essential. Like that was like mission stuff, you know.
Yeah,
I could say I could say calling the stuff with Hannah like maybe a bit too much. But
Yeah.
like when they met Bledlow
Mm.
at the thing, I don't think that like that was fine. And also in the US bunker stuff, like I think that was like essential mission stuff that you can't like. I think most of them do that, like where there is like extended kind of
yeah.
military talk about the plot.
I know. Yeah, it was just it was too long. It was too long. They were just there for ages. I don't know, and I think the runtime proves that. To be honest,
Yeah,
like this movie's so
yeah,
long.
no, okay, yeah, fair. I get,
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
that. Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I get it needs to be there, and like in principle, I actually like. I actually did enjoy most of those scenes. I guess probably mainly like when we the parts I mentioned earlier, like mainly when we start cutting back to them when Cruz isn't there anymore. I actually enjoyed them more because
Yeah.
like there it feels like it's progression, like as opposed to them just sitting around. But I still enjoyed like that location and everything that was going on in there because even though like there was that exposition early, like first of all, I really like watching Angela Bassett act. Second of all, like having all of these actors in the same room firing line after line at each other is just wild. Like, why are there so many of them? Why, dude? Why are there so many actors in this scene? Why are there so many characters in this scene? There's no reason. There's the reason is that Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie like all these actors and wanted them in the movie. That's it. And like, this sounds like a complaint. It's not a complaint because, like, goddamn, give me Nick Offerman and Holt McCallany and the chick from Ozark just like talking with each other back and forth. It's like it's good. They're all compelling. So I'll take it. But you can't tell me that it's not like really weird. Like why are there like 10 characters in this scene? You could like combine half these characters into like, you know what I mean? Like it's just way too many characters.
But like that adds to like the pressure of it all. You know, there's
I
so
guess.
many opinions and so much shouting, kind of like this overbearing position. Like last week I said I don't want Angela Bassett to turn to Tom Cruise's side, which she did, which wasn't a massive fan of at first. But like I think she does, like, her as a president, I think is a good job. And I think seeing seeing the pressure that like so many people and so many opinions, and then like obviously Nick Offerman taking the gun later, and like what that has to say. Like I think
That was
having
good.
so many people there, I think it builds to all like I think it builds appropriately with the way that the film's building on Tom Cruise's side. Like I don't think like if you like
Okay.
you can definitely condense the characters, and you might get a tighter script and you get a tighter runtime, but I don't think you really feel the same pressure on on screen physically immediately.
I hear you. Yeah. Like having so many voices in the room, like adds something. Yeah, I get that, and it probably is more realistic to a situation like this as well. I imagine. Yeah, that's a good point. I did like the subplot. Like I said, like I did like when like every time we come back here later, the whole subplot of like Offerman grabbing the gun and then this building tension of like one of them's going to end up turning. One of them's going to go in it for themselves and be like one of the fanatics for the entity. Like that was I liked that. I liked that, and it ended up being that. But then it was just like the lowly guy that no one cared about, and Offerman shot him. Like that was good. I actually did enjoy that. Again, just having like so many quality actors in the same room is just kind of crazy and entertaining for sure. Although, where did Indira Varma go from the first one? Because it's like that same core group, except like with like 5 more people minus her. It's kind of weird.
They used her voice in the opening thing again.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I don't know. I thought it was funny because it is kind of the same vibe as the opening from Dead Reckoning, where it's just like so many characters in a room. But,
I mean, like just in terms of the over exposition stuff. I mean, yeah, it does make sense for the the bunker people, but I think the biggest waste is just like the biggest waste of time in the movie, as I see it, is just like the submarine stuff with like Trammell and like Katie M. O'Brien and like those people, especially because they don't actually like he doesn't use the plan really that they go with. Like he says he was never going to use like the decompression chamber or whatever. I mean, he does use the submarine to get to the other submarine, but it just that whole sequence felt so that whole like area of the film felt so like protracted, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. It kind of feels like you had that cast there. Like, yeah, it really is like should be like a whole section with a whole cast of characters. But yeah, they didn't add enough to justify the time, I don't think. They kind of just ended up being like, I know there was the turncoat one or whatever, but then it's like, I don't know, they ended up just being like, they just ended up being bros, they ended up being cool. It's like, all right, sure.
Yeah, that was sick, I want to join the military.
Right, oh yeah, maybe that was the point of it.
That felt like a long like ad.
Yeah, kinda.
Dude, I get to run on treadmills and fucking deep dive and like hunt Russian missiles so I can subs. Hell yeah.
Yeah, actually, maybe that was the whole
Sign me
point
up,
of
Tom.
It feels like that. Yeah, actually.
But I don't really feel like the over exposition stuff that you're talking about, Jaden, in like the first 20 minutes. Like I felt that was kind of just throwing us into the deep end a bit, and that made like sense. Like I also really like those flashback montage sequences. I thought that were pretty awesome.
They deserve a whole. Oh yeah, I was going to give them a whole section, but fuck it, let's do it right now.
But you liked it?
It was incredible.
Really?
I love them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Wait, hang on. I thought you were talking. Wait, hang on. We're talking about the same thing, Jane. You were coming out of the theater raving about this shit.
About the first montage, like the very first snippet at the very start, where it's like rapid cut. No, you're talking about like the ones like intercut within like this within like the opening, right?
No, I mean like in the first the first one is the most impressive. But
Yeah.
like in the first like 20 minutes, I think the other ones are still like kind of good.
I think I think the first one was magnificent. I thought it was like exceptional.
Okay.
But then like everything after that, I just like I kind of felt jarring and stilted and oddly placed in, and kind of like just felt like a weird editing choice to kind of suit what was being said, and what was being said was awkward.
Okay,
is how I felt about the rest of them. I only really liked the first one.
But okay, but there's only really one. There's only one montage, right? Like to be clear, like there's the montage at the start, which is epic shit, and then but then I guess separately, like the editing choices in the following 15 minutes or so. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't think the other like little splices we get are like amazing. Like I think there's definitely a drop in quality after the first montage, but I think the first montage, was awesome, and it just like, I didn't mind the other ones too. I think like I can definitely see it. I can definitely see how you saw it as like a stilted like editing choice or whatever, but I just enjoy that whole thing, that whole choice, I guess. Yeah.
Do you reckon the way it's edited and like kind of do you reckon the first 20 minutes is like a callback to like the original series or some shit? Like I haven't seen it, but like I could see that being like the choice. Like the original series is like presented in a similar way or some shit.
Maybe. It was I found, and I still found this upon rewatching, I found the opening of Dead Reckoning kind of awkward too. But this is 3 times more awkward than even that was. Like, I guess I'm with Jane. I don't know how much you agree with this aspect of it, Fitzy, but like taking out like the actual editing, like little flashes back or whatever, like just these combination of scenes flowing together so quickly, and so it's kind of disorienting. And then by the time you get to like I guess the main culprit is like everything leading into like the scene where they're captured or whatever by Gabriel. This is just a weird scene. I don't know. I don't know what was going on in this scene. Like there's this weird attempts at humor that don't land. Like the whole final bit of it being like Ethan beat the shit out of the guys, and then isn't Haley there? And they're like, "Oh, don't look! Oh, it's a bit of a mess! Oh, like or whatever it was." And it's like that did not land at all. And then that being the bit that leads you into the intro did not feel good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and
what
then
else happened though? Like, what else happened before they were captured by Gabriel?
There was like a 30-second scene where there's some gala or something,
yeah,
and that's when they got captured. And
the
it's like,
the brevity of that was so weird.
That was awkward. Yeah,
agreed. And then the only thing I can recall directly before that was like obviously there was the moment when they break Paris out and they convert the other guy who ended up joining the crew. Like Briggs's
yeah.
sergeant guy.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Like all of that was bad. All of that was awkward. Yeah.
It just flowed weird. It just all I don't know. Like none of it had enough time to breathe, and attempts. Just the moments in them were not working. I don't know. There's nothing. I think that's sort of all it was. It was just kind of like I think the scene where they break Paris out by itself is like fine. I didn't really have an issue with it, but then I don't know the way it then just leads into the next thing and the next thing, and then like they're already. I don't think I'm getting it mixed up. I could be, but then I think they're already intercutting back to like Tom goes to like the underground place in London where like Luther's hiding out, and he's I don't know he's sick or whatever. Like he goes there earlier, but then they sort of leave there and then start cutting back to it in short snippets.
Yeah.
Like I think that's happening throughout this.
Yeah.
And it's just like it was just a lot. It was just a lot. I don't know. And I was just confused, to be honest. Although honestly, that might have also happened after the intro too. I don't really remember. It just sort of all blurred. But they definitely did just start randomly cutting back to Luther being sick in the bed.
Once they leave London is when it because they're still in London a bit after the sizzle because it's like
Luther dies after the sizzle.
Yeah. It's once they leave London is when everything starts getting fixed. In my opinion, really.
Okay. So London awkward. London. Yeah, London ain't it in this film. Well, what did you think of Luther's death then?
It felt weird. It felt like it came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Like I was okay with it. I was okay with it, but it just felt weird at the start. And then it kind of, if they had gone down the path of killing them all off, I think it would have been really effective. But him being the only one that dies, I think still didn't feel like that great. Like it's fine, but it's not. I think had they all died, had all the three, originals been killed off, I think.
No,
I think they would have been. But you can't kill Benji. But then Benji died, and I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And then Tom Cruise is going to die. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh and wow, that would have been insane.
And I was like, this is like a really brilliant kind of weighty way to end it all. But then they kind of bitched out on that, and then Luther's just dead in an awkward way for no reason. I'm like, oh.
Look, I think if any of them dies, I think Luther makes sense. He's the other. He's been in all the films too. You sort of want the long-standing character death to be impactful. I get that. I think the thing that was just weird about it to me, I didn't mind it. I just think it could have been done better. I guess because the whole thing with him being sick, where did that come from? Yeah,
there's nothing about that in Dead Reckoning, right?
No, and Dead Reckoning takes place like a couple months before or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I think if it had been a thing in the previous film where Luther's sick, or they set that up, and then in this one, it's like, oh, he's probably going to die, but then he sacrifices himself. Okay, I can see that a bit. It was a lot to take in too quickly, to where it didn't really pay off. I don't think entirely, but I don't mind him dying, and I don't mind how it happens exactly, but. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe could have used some setup, I guess. I don't even know, what, is he got cancer? What's he, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was like, was he exposed to radiation from some shit? I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like, this, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like, can he
but then, there was no radiation
something going on in the movies?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's
in Fallout, he's exposed to a bomb kind of thing. But I don't know, tie
it into something. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to just 2 months later, oh, he's critically ill. It's like, why? What? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah. He's gone through so much.
It's weird that they didn't tie it into something, given how much they tried to tie everything in this movie into something else in the franchise.
Yeah.
As much as they could.
Yeah.
But I agree that Luther's death was quite unimpactful. Especially when Ilsa's death was pretty good.
Don't tell that to Steven in the comments that it was pretty good.
Don't trigger him,
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I will say that one thing I do really like about this film is how it leans into being a celebration of the franchise and really calling all these things back. Maybe some of it may be a bit forced at times, But nonetheless, I appreciate what they were going for. To like, one of my long-standing things with this franchise has been I think it's stronger when it's treating itself as a franchise and as celebrating its fans for watching all the films and all that kind of stuff. And overall, I don't think it does it enough. It's done it more recently, which I've appreciated. But this film, I really like how. I mean, it makes sense. If you've got a movie called The Final Reckoning, you want to do something for the fans, obviously. So I appreciate their attempts to do that throughout, regardless of the awkward editing we're talking about at times and these different things. Like obviously, Jane, when you walked out, like the thing that resonated with me most is when Jane and you said, like that opening 5-minute montage, like you can't wait for it to be uploaded on YouTube so you can like rewatch it over and over. And it's like that's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it, 100%, because that's how good it was. And it is one of those things that everyone's going to want to rewatch a ton because it was so good. Mission Impossible 2 got like one shot in it, by the way. But
it had its time.
So it had its moment. Actually, no, Anthony Hopkins was cut in there.
Oh, was he?
I swear to God he was.
Yeah.
I swear to God he was. He was very quickly there too. So no, Mission Impossible 2 maybe.
It's got 3 shots in it. Yeah.
Had 3 shots of like 200. So yeah, it's funny. Like, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed No Time to Die as a celebration of like that Craig Bond franchise as well. But like, this is definitely, and No Time to Die is definitely a better movie than this. But this, I actually liked probably more. It probably did an even better job as a celebration in that way. Like I liked the whole. I know. I think there was some debate of it coming out. I think with this, but I liked the Rabbit's Foot tie-in, or retcon or whatever you want to call it. Like,
I thought you'd be the one that was most against it, given like your hate for Spectre.
Oh, no, because the Rabbit's Foot's not that like it's not that important.
No.
It's not all. It's not the entire. I don't want to have a Bond conversation, but it's not like all the characters and all their motivations like being changed. It's like it's just a MacGuffin and give it a bit more meaning. I'm fine with that. Rabbit's Foot, and we got to see like brief glimpses of the sick ass one of my favorite scenes of the franchise with Owen Davey and like the interrogation scene. I love that, so I'll take any excuse to get a shout out to that in this film, which we did. So yeah, no, I really appreciate it as all these callbacks, and I think obviously the biggest one has to be the return of Langley Man, which was a nice surprise.
Yeah,
I did not see that coming at all. But he ends up being like, I mean, he's part of the crew, which I thought was very cool, very cool. And they spun it in a positive way, like he gets sent to Iceland, well, not Iceland or wherever they are in the Arctic or whatever, and it's like the best thing that ever happened to him, because he met his wife and shit. It's like that's great, I like that. And then you can rewatch Mission Impossible 1 and be like, this guy's it's going to turn out great for this guy, even though you might not think so. Did you know who he was the second he walked onto screen?
Yeah.
I was trying to recognize him for a moment. I was like, I've seen you, but I've like met through before. And then it clicked.
Yeah, I did not recognize him. He's got the full beard, Jaden.
Yeah, but he looks the same.
He does look the same, but like the beard, And it's also like it's not like I remember exactly what the one dude who has like 2 minutes screen time in the first movie looks like exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's like an important part,
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I know. To be fair, I rewatch this film like every fucking 4 months. At this point.
Sure. they cut back to that the knife falling on the desk moment from the first film. I swear to God, they used that like 5 times in this movie, but like it's so good I didn't care. Like every time they try and remind us of Langley, it's like, remember that shot? Remember when the knife fell? It's like, yeah, I do. It was great.
Well, he kept the knife and then he used the knife as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the knife came back as like a. What did he use the knife like a plot beat? I can't remember.
But he did use it, and I was like, huh, that's like
the knife was used. Yeah,
it's like 100%. The gun thing,
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. I don't want to say it because Spooky made fun of me for getting it wrong last time.
What did you call it? Do you know what you called it last time?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. You don't have to say that though. It's like the gun thing. Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's Mission Impossible. We should get into the action set pieces. I think this alludes to I think something Fitzy brought up at the start, but as a general question to you both, do you think it's fair of me to say that this movie lacked action set pieces?
No, not for me personally, because like I said, I'm happy. I'm fine with the trade off. I was fine with the trade off for some of the action, for some more of the talking within the government guys and all that shit. So I didn't really feel an absence of it while watching, because I think the ones that we got were like kind of lengthy and impressive. But yeah, I guess there was probably a tad less than usual.
I thought there was a noticeable absence, personally.
I think. I just think there was a lack of kind of close combat stuff. Like I didn't find the scene in the cabin to be that great, with like Paris and everyone else, and I felt that was like their chance to kind of deliver on that. Because obviously, like with Cruise's action stuff in here, it's much more like, isolated, and him just usually fighting like one person. I mean, the fight with him with like the rogue guy on the submarine was decent. I think like the way that was shot was pretty cool. But yeah, I think there just wasn't quite enough of that like close combat, like hand to hand stuff.
Yeah, I agree. This is something Jade and I talked about, I think, in the car. I think, but what's up with like Tom really wanted to go shirtless on this one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he has been shirtless before, briefly, but man, like he was like an objective on this one apparently, because he was like shirtless half the time. I swear to God.
I feel like it was like he's like, all right, we need to offset. Like we've put Paris in this kind of skimpy shirt at the start. We've kind of had Rebecca Hall around, and so I was like, let me give something back, kind of thing.
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah.
And then we get it in spades, man.
I mean, he looks great for a 63-year-old guy, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, good for him.
I mean, if I was taking my shirt off next week, I'd be put to shame, It's like, oh.
As would 95% of
and this dude eats 2 large popcorns with every movie. Like, come on.
Does he? Is that a thing?
He said it like this week or like last week, something like that.
Oh, that's great.
He's like a fervent popcorn eater.
That's great. I just keep seeing stuff this week about how like Tom Cruise, like it just happens all the time. Like Tom Cruise stops and talks to fans for like an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
This keeps happening. It's like this Tom Cruise is a good guy propaganda just keeps spreading, man. I mean, I'm down for it, but it's out there. Oh yeah. Tell me if you think this is an unfair comparison. Every mission movie, of course, has these in between sort of like hand-to-hand combat sequences that Fitzy's talking about, and I agree with your point that like it feels like they were lacking a bit in this one. Just that. I still think there's a category though between like those and the set pieces. And let's quickly compare to Dead Reckoning. Tell me if you think I'm making any unfair comparisons. Dead Reckoning has the desert, the airport, the drive through Rome, Venice, and the final train sequence, which is like a lot. That's huge, right? That's 5 right there. This movie has the submarine and the plane.
London at the start.
Is that a set piece?
Yeah. I mean, I think the cabin is supposed to be the other one, but I think that's where the movie doesn't deliver, just because it's slightly underwhelming. I think if the cabin stuff was better, that would definitely be a third. But like, I agree with you. It feels like the submarine and the plane is like the only 2 big action.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the cabin is meant to be the third one, but like, I don't know. The cabin to me is like equivalent to like Ilsa and Benji's fight, like with Solomon Lane in Fallout at the end, where it's like, that's not a set piece. It's like it's an action scene to break up the set piece.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was gonna say like the stuff in the bunker, but as well, but that's the same kind of
right.
Thing.
Yeah.
I think
I
London
mean,
has to count because it's Luther defusing a bomb and Tom Cruise running away. Like that's kind of staple, you know.
oh, do you understand why I'm hesitant to count it though?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. I might give it half a point. I might give it
Yeah.
2.5.
I think. Look for me. Once again, it goes back to like the fact that like I think the meetings break it up enough and build enough tension that when there is an outbreak of action, I really felt it. So even when it was minor, like even when like that guy got like when Nick Offerman shoots that guy in the office, you know, like that felt like quite a decent amount of action because of how it was built up.
Yeah.
But no, like you're obviously right about the lack of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I felt noticeable. Like, especially, I guess maybe it sunk in more for me with my criticism of the exposition, where it's like from my perspective, like we did not get a single action set piece until like I don't know when do you reckon the submarine started like an hour and a half in? Honestly, maybe an hour 20. Like, man, it just took ages to get there. Holy shit. And then I'm really curious what you guys think of this. It was good. I feel bad saying that. Tom Cruise like dove underwater for us, but man, it was
so
good.
Both you guys are kind of mid on the submarine.
I think it was great. I'm
okay.
not mid on that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Dude.
So it's me then. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank God. I was like, dude, submarine stuff was fantastic.
Yeah. You dug it.
Yeah, really liked it.
Yeah, I mean the dive down is like my favorite part. I think that was pretty awesome. But yeah, like on the submarine, I think just the silent tension there, and like as you said, everything in the film is building pressure, and like this is a sequence where there's literal, pressure. So I think that was pretty awesome.
And just also with like the AI's montage at the start, and like it shows like Tom Cruise dying in like an explosion from a missile falling, or like it's like something happening, like knowing like that, like having been presented with that threat earlier, like it does another job to build, and you're kind of anticipating that, and you're like, oh yeah, something's gonna go wrong, and something does go wrong, but not quite what that's not quite wrong. You're like, it's
Ethan does die again in this movie.
Yeah.
Is there like I don't know enough about this. Is there a thing where like humans after they've been revived multiple times, like surely you lose something, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you lose a bit of your like? I don't mean to make this like a fantastical thing, but like, do you lose a bit of your soul like every time? You know what I mean? Like, surely, my point is, surely if you're Ethan Hunt and you die like 5 times and get revived 5 times, like surely you can't be the same dude after that. You know what I mean?
Like it probably you probably carry a weight with you. Like I don't think you lose something, but like,
but it's like, wouldn't it be at least somewhat analogous to having a stroke or something, where you just lose a bit of your capabilities of whether it's physical or mental or something? You got to lose something. Like maybe I'm not saying I want Ethan Hunt at the end of this movie to have like slurred speech.
Well, I think you can lose something if it's like a really bad case, but right. I don't think like if someone's like revived successfully and I mean I have no idea about the conditions about what would cause someone to like actually lose something, but like, I feel like most of the time you don't, unless like something went to the brain,
right?
I feel like that would be the case where you would lose stuff. Mental capabilities.
I don't know how true this is because I heard this a long time ago and it was like word of mouth, so I don't really know like regurgitate it. But, like, isn't like being knocked out for anything longer than a couple seconds like really damaging to like the body?
I've got no idea, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That checks out.
I don't know.
I can definitely see that.
Like this is Ethan Hunt. It's not a normal person,
That's fair.
It's exceptional stories, like kind of circumstances.
Oh, and I also forgot he died in 3 as well. So like he's died and been revived at least 3 times that I can remember off the top of my head.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about 3.
You know what I mean? Should this guy be walking around with a limp by now? Oh man, I don't know. Should he be able to hold on to the plane like he does at the end? With how many times he's died? Maybe not. No, I am glad you guys liked the submarine sequence, and it was undoubtedly impressive. I admit that I honestly think it took so long to get there, I was a bit out of it by the time I got there. Like, I wasn't ready. Like, maybe if I watched it in a vacuum, I would find it more impressive. And no, it was impressive. It really was. Like, I don't want to take anything away from it technically, but I think, you know, I've talked a lot about pacing in the last couple of reviews, and I think this one had lost me by this point a little bit. And it took a bit to get me back, which it did eventually. But yeah, I will say my favorite part of it though was that awesome final shot when like he I mean, all the what do you call that? Like when he starts pulsating when he gets towards the top,
Convulsing.
convulsing. Thank you. Like that was intense stuff, and then like that final shot where like I think it's in the trailer where like he rises up and then the camera turns, and you know he's upside down, and it's like him up against the ice upside down. That's a stunning shot. That was phenomenal.
Were there no masks in this film? Am I forgetting a mask moment? Or did they just not use masks?
Oh, at the start in the Paris breakout scene.
Oh yeah.
Outside of that though, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
That's kind of surprising. Okay.
Yeah. For a love letter to the franchise, yeah. To have so little masks is an interesting.
What were they thinking, man? Yeah. Jesus. God damn.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we can get into it now, but like the whole like not going further into the backstory and not really even explaining what Gabriel's deal is to like to what I think is like a proper like extent was really weird. Just like who is this woman that died and yeah. Yeah. I mean, you had so much exposition, as you said, in this film, and you didn't tackle that, which I think was like, I mean, it was a key component of like the first of Dead Reckoning. It was just odd that they didn't delve into that.
Yeah,
especially because like Gabriel is like ostensibly the bigger villain because like the AI does get this like sequence here, but like apart from that, you know, you don't really see it or feel it. So like to not flesh out Gabriel is probably one of the film's bigger mistakes in my opinion.
Definitely. It feels like a huge ball drop. I don't know. Like did they forget? Like honestly, like what happened?
Well, I think they rewrote quite a bit of the script from like reading the Wikipedia. Like it's just bits and pieces, but it's so like the initial plan was to shoot Dead Reckoning back to back, parts 1 and 2, and then when that delayed, when that changed, it said that McQuarrie spent quite a bit of time rewriting the script again. And I reckon it probably just got lost in that rewrite. And like when they realized they're not doing a part 2 and that this is going to be the final one, they probably just sacrificed it.
They sacrificed it for as opposed to being as like a standalone Dead Reckoning 2-parter story. They sacrificed sort of like, oh, we've got to we're wrapping up this series now. Like
yeah. I think
that's a good theory.
Yeah, instead of them rather forgetting about it, I think it's kind of just had to get lost to make it fit.
Yeah, it's the only decent explanation. I certainly can't imagine in the original plan of part 1 to scripts written that Gabriel like and that whole backstory wasn't in that original script. Like why? You know what I mean? Like it's all there. It's all set up in part 1. Like why would it not be in the second part script? That would be so bizarre.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense. It would be lost in a rewrite. I agree. It's a bummer. It really is. Like do we learn anything else from part 1? I don't think we do. We get the same shots of like Gabriel killing the woman in the alley and then Ethan like cradling over her or whatever. And it's like, it's just the same thing. It's like, and then do we learn anything else about that moment? No.
I think there's one extra shot about like his mission, about like a file, like a mission file, like, and that's it.
Jesus. Yeah, God. I don't know.
Do you know also where that really shocked me? that
Mm.
I should probably bring up now that we're talking about the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult was apparently originally cast as Gabriel. This is according to Wikipedia. It said that Holt was attached to like star as Gabriel in both like Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2 at the time. But then he got replaced.
That must be. I guess now that must have all been in Dead Reckoning's development, where they realized they wanted an older guy to make that make sense, right?
Well, I don't know whether it was a. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether.
Because obviously, what you're saying is that it makes no sense for Nicholas Hoult to have this 30-year past with Ethan Hunt.
Yes. But I don't know whether it was a like realization that they need to change it, or whether it was a Holt had other commitments and he couldn't do it, and so that's why they
changed. They pivoted from that, maybe. Yeah.
And whether they were going to chuck Holt in a fuck ton of makeup or something, or
nah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Mm.
You never know.
Hmm.
I assume they cast. I don't know. I would imagine they cast villain first. Like they do the casting first based on the kind of presence they want, and then kind of go from there.
So you think like the backstory and like SA being like older is like maybe an afterthought? Like,
maybe.
Like if they wanted to Holt, it would have been more with like just like him being like a like a goon for the AI kind of thing. Like,
well, that's what I was thinking. Like he's gonna be like an AI tech bro type thing, like Lex Luthor-ish, you know. Yeah, that is like got a Superman role coming up. Like I could see him playing it, like it's like like kind of like more cultist type of vibe, you know.
Sure, yeah,
like tech cultist.
You can say that. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, this movie led me. I think all the setup in part 1 is very interesting with that. Like I think S.A. Morales has a great presence on screen. I think the whole idea of Ethan Hunt having this 30-year past with this guy who like is tied inexplicably to his career and his life, and the moment he became part of the IMF, like all this is just raises it's all cool and raises interesting questions. And I don't know, I want to see that story. I want to see that whatever that was of him like having to then. I can only presume from the glimpses we get that he was framed for murder and then was given the choice, whatever that means. Still don't really know. I mean, we know what it is, obviously, the choice to join the IMF, but whatever context that was for Ethan, I don't know. Like all I can say is that I want to see it, and I want to see it. I'd love to see it in. I don't know how we'll see it now, to be honest. But like, I don't know, even if they do something animated, or I don't know. I just really, I don't necessarily think they're going to do that. I'm trying to think of ways that we could maybe see it one day.
Well, I mean, that's what they're being coy about initially, with like saying that the franchise could still go forward in going.
They do these different projects, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd be down 100%.
Tales of Ethan Hunt,
Oh, sweet. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Get Lucasfilm to do it. Yeah. No.
Tales of the IMF. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
let's
fucking go. Yeah. That'd be sick. Dude, Paramount Plus needs content. Like, surely. You know what I mean? I'd be super down for that. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Long story short, it's a bummer. I'd love to see
for
more.
sure.
I want to know who that lady is.
And who Gabriel is. Like, I mean, we were talking after the film about whether or not he was like a fucking drug kingpin or if he was a spy. I mean, I think he was always like a spy, but like,
I think
just the fact that we don't know anything about him is funny.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. I think SA is just such a great presence. Yeah, that just never. He deserves better. The character deserves better. It really does. Simple as that. Yeah. Speaking of Gabriel, let's talk about the plane, the biplane thing, the stunts, the sequence, the set piece. I just want to take a moment to apologise to Chris McQuarrie, my mate, who's going to be coming on the podcast soon, hopefully, and Tom Cruise. I wish I could go back and edit out my skepticism from last week where I said, what's this shit with Tom Cruise hanging from a yellow plane? Who wants to see that shit? Oh man. I was I'll take the L because that shit was insane and he's absolutely the highlight of the film. and it was unbelievable. I remember McQuarrie talking about like when they were doing press for Dead Reckoning Part 1. I recall at the time I watched some interview or something, and he said, "Yeah, right now we're attempting to shoot the most dangerous thing we've ever attempted." And I was like, "Huh, okay." And yeah, now I get it. Like, yeah, that's pretty hard to deny. That's what that was. So yeah, this was unbelievable. This is it has I don't know. This ranks very high in top set pieces the series has ever done. And no, I don't want to make it sound like the film was like a total bust before this, but this very much saved the movie for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it?
You didn't think it was that good? Are you gonna?
Was it really unbelievable? I mean,
yes,
it was good.
Dude, the planes were fucking spinning so much for like 20 minutes. The plane just kept fucking spinning, and he was just hanging on.
Anakin did that
then,
like fucking 25 years ago, man.
All right. And then he's like fucking, and then all the action, like the actual what's actually happening is so good of like him like trying to fucking climb in there, and oh my god, kicking each other and shit. S.A. Morales up there too, doing the same thing.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't think it was unbelievable. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Were you maybe spacing out by this point? Were you like me in the submarine?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're saying the movie's too long and you just couldn't sustain it, then I don't disagree with that. But man, I was so impressed. Jan, where does this rank for you in the series? Like, does it belong in the tier that I'm expressing right now?
I don't know. I think I probably prefer the submarine, to be honest.
What?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh come on.
Like I think it's incredible, and like
you thought the submarine was better than this
as an entire scene, yeah. As a fully kind of designed, kind of scene and experience and all that. Like I think the submarine was better. Like don't get me wrong, like I think it's still great, but I wouldn't put it above like the Burj Khalifa.
You wouldn't put it. Shut the fuck up, you piece of
shit. Yeah. Like once the suns start getting pretty good, and like it's probably I don't know Rogue Nation level,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
like the dive in Rogue Nation,
Oh Jesus. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. Now you're putting me in a position to dog Rogue Nation because I love Rogue Nation. But man, that shit was insane.
Yeah, insane. But insane doesn't translate to like
to what? To what?
Like insanely impressive, but like not like impressive in a vacuum, kind of. But like impressive in a vacuum because of what happened within it. But I just think that the submarine was the better scene, as Liam talked about, with that with the lack of music and like the kind of pressure and the cuts. I just think the way it's cut together with like the kind of slow roll and then like how he has to navigate that.
Yeah.
Like and like the kind of shifting of that and how like he's really put in a situation he's never been in before and like that. Like I just think it just functions better.
Man, I need everyone to write in right now. Like, because I might be in the minority and I don't know. I need everyone listening. Please comment which one's better. Just type submarine or planes, whatever you want. I need to know. I need to know where we stand here. Because I might be in the minority. I might be tripping. But I just could not disagree more with this right now. Personally. It's insane. Hang on. Fizzy said it wasn't insane. How is it not insane?
I mean...
Give me one reason it's not insane.
Like maybe it was just like it felt like the pressure was like deflated a bit in that scene with like Gabriel becoming the kind of the wacky villain. You know what I mean? Like the scene itself. If you take away the plain insanity, like it wasn't. I don't think it was
plain insanity.
Okay, fine. It was a little bit insane, but it's like not really by Mission Impossible standards. I don't think it was like insane.
Okay.
Okay. I might be a bit wrong, but like, yeah. I just don't think the scenes themselves were that impressive, and that took away from it a little bit, I guess.
Maybe look. Maybe there's a distinction to be made because I think there are valid criticisms to be made in regards to like you guys are talking a lot about the construction of the two scenes by comparison. I think if you're comparing like the flow of them, you're including like the fact that obviously the plane sequence is intercut with like the whole Simon Pegg being bleeding on the floor and them like trying to trap the entity in the box or whatever. Like,
I think that was honestly a bit more exciting.
What the fuck? That shit was lame.
No,
like Benji dying, and then like I thought that was a bit that got me.
Dude, that was so like you could put that in fucking Ghost Protocol for all I give a shit, dude. That shit was whatever.
Oh, we're just in Ghost Protocol now.
I did not give a crap about that, honestly. Like, was there a third plane of action I'm even forgetting, or was it just those two?
Well,
it was the defusing the bomb, kind of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever.
And then maybe cutting to the US war room as well.
Yeah. Whatever. So look, like if we're counting, so in that sense, like if we're counting like the 20 minutes versus the 20 minutes, in that sense, like okay, I can build a case for the submarine as a piece, like in and of itself with everything. Well, I see that as a stunt, as a completely if you would just like edit the plane together only. For me, there's no debate, but. And like
you're saying you were watching that and your mind was like blown. You know, you were like, "This is insanely impressive."
I was gritting it here, dude. 100%.
Okay, yeah, that was okay. That was not my experience. Yeah, that was definitely not my.
But like, but is it because of these other ancillary things, or do you actually just think the stunt wasn't that impressive?
It's maybe a little bit because of the ancillary.
Yeah, is that how you pronounce it?
Things.
That's.
Ancillary.
Ancillary.
I think so.
Ancillary.
I always thought it was ancillary.
Yeah, I mean the ancillary things that might drag it down a little bit, but like ancillarily speaking.
Oh Christ.
Non-ancillarily speaking. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel. I wasn't blown. My mind wasn't blown, I guess. Like
the point you brought up about Gabriel feeling a bit like lacking a bit, like as a character feeling a bit goofy, like as a result of everything that come. Like I don't disagree with that at all. Like I think that's a valid criticism of like why the scene could work better. Like that you know we've already talked about our thoughts on Gabriel, obviously, but yeah, I'm as a purely as an action piece, like dude.
You know, we used to chuck like 16 women on these things, and like back in World War II times, and like they danced on it and like make propaganda films, right?
Were they fucking spinning around?
No, but they were like they were like dancing and shit, man.
Yeah, they're probably going at like 10 k's an hour or whatever the minimum speed is.
10 k's to fly. Okay.
Those planes were gunning it, dude. I was watching. Tom said in an interview I was watching where like he said like everyone thought he'd passed out multiple times while hanging on, but like he had to develop with like Chris McQuarrie's in the chopper, like obviously directing all this shit, and like they're up there for like significant periods of time doing this, and they had to develop like hand gestures for them to communicate because Tom obviously can't fucking say anything to them. So like there'd be like periods of time where like they thought he's passed out, but like he was like so physically exhausted that like he kind of had to stop. But like he came up with a hand gesture where he was just like he had to communicate like I'm just resting, and like he'd actually like sit there and just basically like hibernate for like 10 minutes just to recharge, like while he's fucking hanging on to this moving airplane, which is nuts. But like, yeah, I don't know. But like he said, like he never lost consciousness, but he said like there were definitely times where you're so physically exhausted from having to just the sheer motion of having to move your body and move your limbs with such like, you know, while the plane's doing all the shit around you and all that sheer force of it, like is so exhausting that you just sort of like go into different, you start sort of getting drowsy and all this sort of shit, which obviously makes sense. So, yeah.
So was there really no like safety protocol for this? Like what? Like
sure, yeah,
legit,
like strap wires on or whatever, or like a harness of some description.
And then that's it. I guess.
Yeah, like he's fucking hanging onto this fucking plane, spinning and shit, dude. It's like going up and down and fucking around and.
Gee, you're easily entertained. Just like put a plane in front of him and spin. No, it's going up and down and spinning. Jesus.
Tom Cruise and S.A. Morales performed their own stunts when in the flying biplane, including when Cruise holds onto the wings of the aircraft as it spins upside down. Meanwhile, the pilot of the plane wore a suit made out of green screen material so they could be digitally removed to make it look like nobody's in the cockpit. And I saw that as well. So there's like there's this pilot in this big green suit, which is pretty funny.
I found the like older like associate guy to be funny. Yeah, in the red plane. You know, basically Gabriel's goon.
Oh yeah,
he was always just smiling and just like he was having the time of his life, man.
Yeah, as he would be.
Yeah, I
He's
guess
up there
so.
flying a plane. He thinks he's just helped like end the world or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is great.
Yeah.
I must say I did also enjoy that. It was pretty brief, but in the lead up to this moment, we got the Tom Cruise run like in the African savannah. You know, like the only thing missing was like, even if, dude, I don't even care if they put him in CG, but like I needed some like, give me some lions, give me some giraffes. You know what I mean? Like, I needed to see.
Cringe.
I needed to see
George
Tom
Lucas
Cruise.
build.
I love it. I needed to see just some animals, and that would have just made it so much better. But even still, I'll take like we did get the one like there was actual like savannah tree scenery Tom Cruise run going on in that one shot. I'm like, that is good. That's good stuff. So I was into that for sure. Oh man. I guess it's a good thing that the movie ended on such a high for me. You know, started low. You got there.
Speaking about endings, how much better would it have been had Briggs just fucking shot Ethan at Kettridge's fucking, you know, kind of request?
Who was it? Was it you when we came out saying that you actually thought that might have happened? Or who was that?
Yeah, no, that was me. I think me and Andy were saying it. And I would have, I think, had like, and like, yeah, like my, like, had Luther Benji died as well and had that happen, I think that would have been fantastic. But given that Benji survived, I'm okay with Ethan surviving. And like I was saying, going in, I didn't want Ethan to die, and I didn't think it was a possibility. But then as the film was kind of going on, I was accepting of the idea. And then at that point, I was like, hell yeah. But now I'm like, it's fine that we didn't.
Well, during the mid Simon Pegg scene where he's like bleeding out, did you think he was going to die?
Yeah, I thought Benji was actually going to die that time.
Okay.
And like with that, I thought, okay, so they're actually going to kill Tom Cruise as well.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I agree. If Benji died, then like the dominoes were falling. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ethan Hunt can't die getting shot out of nowhere by some guy at point blank range. Like, come on. Like he has to have an epic death.
But I think that, but like, yeah, once it goes back to villainizing the US and like the CIA is evil and Kettridge sucks ass. And
dude,
like,
that's not what they're making.
and it humanizes the legend of Ethan Hunt, you know, and like to die as a man in the wilds with when all your other friends are dead or at this point as well. I'm like, I don't know. It's like I thought that'd be like a fitting end.
Yeah,
like when it sounds kind of cool, but like you can't tell me that not everyone wouldn't be like so mad at that.
I don't think so.
Everyone would have an absolute no. Come on, everyone would have a meltdown at that shit
for sure.
No, like there was a meltdown over Craig Bond because that's James Bond, and you know he's kind of seen as like a monolith of masculinity, and like, oh, he can't die. But like Ethan Hunt is, I think Ethan Hunt and I think Tom Cruise fans are just, and sorry, not Tom, like Mission Impossible fans are just not the same kind of vein as that, and I think they would have been accepting of it, and I think they would have like.
I think there's no chance they'd be accepting of Ethan Hunt getting shot at point blank range out of nowhere.
Really?
I think there's
not by that guy. Not by that guy.
But like Briggs is doing it, but it's Kettridge that's killing him.
I don't know.
And Kettridge just finally just getting rid of this fucking pestering bug that's like been pissing him off for 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense.
You know.
If Kittredge actually did it, that would make some sense, I guess. But I think he should have got killed by one of those like animals out there, you know, like one of those goats.
Yeah.
Dying in the wilderness.
That South African farmer that raised his hand was actually an acolyte of the AI.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Absolutely.
You think that's good?
Yeah, that's gold. That's better than your idea.
Actually, can we talk about the acolytes for a second that they showed in like the newsreel, and like they had that weird speech, and it was kind of cringe.
And then never came back again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they didn't need to come back, but I just thought it was like a cringe kind of insertion of it. Don't you reckon? Like they were just kind of like stared dead in the camera and just said some random bullshit, and like all the news networks.
I don't even know exactly what it was. And the apocalypse will come, and we'll live forever in the light of the entity or whatever they say, some shit like that. Yeah. No, I didn't mind.
You didn't mind it? Okay.
No, I don't disagree with you. Though.
I didn't mind seeing it once, but then having to see it like another 2 times after that, you know.
Yeah, they come back to the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually just 3 people. It's not like a whole group.
Yeah, it's just those 3 people.
Yeah.
And of course the guy in the bunker who ends up. Yeah. How did we end up landing on John Voight Jr. being the reveal here for Briggs's character?
I was fine with it. Didn't need it, but I was fine. Like it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That was weird. Yeah.
I thought it was cool in the moment, and then ended up being like, I don't know. After the movie ended, I'm like, I don't know why they did that. Like, what was the point of that? Like, is it meant to add to the reconciliation at the end that like Ethan Hunt is like symbolically not just making out with this one Briggs guy, but he's also like making out with like his past and like all the people that have wronged him. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, what's the
Yeah.
He's also not in the movie that much. Like he's in. I swear to God, I'm pretty confident he's in Dead Reckoning more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
feels kind of late to give him this.
This one felt much. Way more centered on like Cruz than the other ones do. Like the other ones seem to give time to like, I don't know, their villains or kind of, you know, their ancillary kind of aspects. So this one was this one was way more focused on Cruz and his actual kind of journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I did like Langley Man, like I mentioned, coming back, but I didn't really like much with the rest of the team in this movie. You know, I mean, Ethan is separate from them, like for like I swear to God, most of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's consequential. Like everything they do matters, but it's just, I don't know, it doesn't hit the same. Like, you know, obviously the cabin Fitzy brought up, and then it's like I wasn't into the entity capture, like that whole thing. So it's like, they didn't really get much.
Haley Atwell didn't do much for me either.
No, yeah, I thought she was kind of a weak kind of relationship with Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes. I mean, you've always been on board with that being a romantic thing, Jaden, and I'm not against that.
I just think it's like that's where it had to kind of. I thought that's where it was going to give like, but like it just. I don't think it worked.
Right.
But like, I just thought like that was like the natural path it was going to take.
Yeah, agreed.
And it does take it, but I don't think she. I think after being spoiled with kind of like the relationship that we had with Michelle Monaghan and Ferguson, and the way that those guys like built to be so different, but like so like, I don't know, like I think they both built really well.
Yeah.
That this one just kind of felt very, a bit undercooked.
Undercooked is 100%. 100%. It's undercooked. Yeah. We brought up the score. I think Fitzy brought it up as being a bit underwhelming. Do you want to expound?
This is the wrong time to drop, you know, your big composer.
My guy Lorne. Where'd he go? He's doing another movie, I guess. I don't know.
Like I get that these are the people within his school, and that he's like they achieve a sound that sounds like Lorne, but it's you know it very much feels like a kind of imitation, which like that's probably a very kind of bad, like that's not a very nice thing to say about these people that have probably helped him hone that sound for so long.
Sure.
But like it just felt like it didn't have that same flair, and it just felt that little bit more generic and kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they'll figure it out. But like it was you know.
No, I totally agree. Like it wasn't bad by any means. I think it had some cool moments. I thought the score during the biplane stuff was good, but it was overall serviceable, and I think it just hurts the series overall when you're coming off 2 back-to-back incredible scores, and then you get something, decent. It just sort of, you lose a bit of something. Yeah. Andy wrote in his review for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and he says, Dead Reckoning for my money was perhaps the most mind-boggling entry of the Mission Impossible series, but also sets up the mythology of the entity in an interesting way that fulfills every chase scene and exhilarating clash that had been strongly built up from start to finish. The Final Reckoning equally matches in its cinematic scope, but the plot interest certainly faded away through choppy editing of action and lengthy exposition that leads to not much. Infuriatingly enough, they resorted to an annoying pro-America subplot that McQuarrie and his co-writer forcibly squeezed in, despite countless of times that CIA had dog shat on Ethan Hunt and IMF. At least, there are incredible displays of action that could be on par with the best set pieces of the franchise, especially the whole underwater affair that Tom Cruise performed exclusively to boost his eccentric ego as an action star. Well, regardless of motive, Andy's with you on the summary. Although the overall sequence does drag a bit, the achievement deserves to be seen in the same light as the other underwater set piece from Rogue Nation. The theatrical experience for this final entry feels mightingly inferior compared to Dead Reckoning a couple of years ago, because the physicality of being at the cinemas back then was memorable, as I felt my seat levitating with every pulsating set piece, and every bit of my body was tingling while seeing Tom Cruise greet us through the silver screen with the motorcycle stunt. But Final Reckoning never hesitates to let Gabriel taunt Hunt once again and give us another enthralling tussle, trading the train tracks for the open sky. At least there is still some immense blockbuster value to be rewarded within Mission Impossible's farewell entry. However, Final Reckoning unexpectedly feels quite underwhelming for a Chris McQuarrie production, not so much in terms of technical quality, but it roughly lacked the magic the past sequels had, the slickness of a spy thriller from Rogue Nation or Fallout, or the unbelievable momentum from one outrageous set piece to another that was truly felt with the latter and Dead Reckoning. I found myself struck with awe of how easy it was to get lost in the world of McQuarrie's other entries that feels effortlessly kinetic and incredibly adventurous than this final film, unfortunately. 7 out of 10. Would have been great if Andy gave it like a 9. Yeah. No, well said, Andy. I think it feels like we're largely on the same page with you. So thank you for writing in. Although I'm not a fan, you praise the submarine way too much. I'm not into that, but that's okay. I guess that's one vote for the submarine in our poll here. I got a couple of pieces of trivia here. A piece of paper with the date May 22nd, 1996 is passed around. This was the exact release date of the first Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
I didn't get it, and I was like, why the fuck do they keep focusing on this piece of paper? It's weird.
But no, you didn't cross into your mind that'd be the date of the.
I mean, I figured it was like some. I got that it was like they kept saying 30 years ago. Like it was meant to like reference like I thought it might have just been like a date within the events of the film. I didn't get it was actually the movie's release date.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah. But I should have, considering I read it like when we reviewed it. But anyway. Here we go. This movie only received a 4.5-minute standing ovation at Cannes, making it one of the worst received films in the history of the festival.
I just read before that it got like a special award though, like outside of competition.
Sorry, I just made that up, by the way. That was a joke. But
okay. That was actually
Thank you. Yeah, that was the idea. But it was at Cannes. I am curious what its actual standing ovation time was. I want to get that on the record. Oh man.
Oh, I really liked the submarine captain guy. He was awesome. He was really fun. And he goes, if you want to poke the bear, you came to the right place, brother. That was fucking sick.
He's from Severance?
He was a cool bloke. He made me want to join the Imperial Navy, It's like, hell yeah.
He's in Severance that I've seen?
Yeah, Milkshake. Yeah, he's like a boss at the company.
Oh, wow, that did not click for me at all. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, I thought it was funny when he turned up because I was just thinking of Severance.
Yeah. I blanked on that big time. Yeah. That's cool. Like, Tom, like, Tom's just watching all this shit and he's just like wants these people, like he like takes note of these people that stand out to him when he's watching stuff. Like,
Stiller produces Severance, doesn't he? And Tom and Stiller are friends.
Stiller directs Severance every episode.
Yeah. Oh, really? Every episode? Wow.
Yeah.
You know, they're mates, and they probably passed him around.
Yeah, but that's just the impression I get from everyone in the like, for real, like that lady from Ozark. I swear to God, it's because Tom watched Ozark and thought she was great, and then like same with everyone. Like Holt, he's probably seen like Mindhunter and thought he was great. Like you get the feeling they're just like sitting around at meetings going like, "Who are some great actors we just want in the movie? Because why not?" You know. And you, without a doubt, Hannah's in it because he's a Ted Lasso guy. Like, there's no doubt. Like, why else is she in it?
Oh, I feel like she's popping up around recently. Like she was in The Fall Guy.
Would she do an American accent in that one?
No, she was British in that one.
Okay. I mean, she can't really do it. Yeah.
And then I think I saw her. She was in something else recently as well. Was she in Paddington? Maybe she was in Paddington 3
something
as well.
Yeah.
Like she's getting.
But all that's from Ted Lasso though. Like.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm good if you guys are.
Yeah, I don't think I have any other ancillary comments.
Oh, Christ. All right, let's get to our final verdict for the final reckoning, Fitzy.
I think this, despite my qualms, I'll still give it a 7. I think the submarine sequence is impressive enough in itself, and yeah, not much else was that impressive. To be honest, I can't think of any other sequence that was that great. But,
yeah, the submarine man. Wow,
the submarine saved that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Separate from that bit, I will say that I think this movie is a 6, but there is no chance in hell I can give a movie with that whole biplane sequence in it anything less than a 7. So that's what I'm doing. It bumped up a point without a doubt. Jaden.
I've landed on an 8, pretty resolutely. You know.
Yeah.
That's still, probably still one of the weaker ones in the franchise, but in a franchise is good.
Okay. One of the weaker ones, yeah. Well, I mean, you gave Ghost Protocol an 8 too, so like that checks out.
Yeah. I think it'd be hard, but I think at the moment, at least, it's just above Ghost Protocol.
Just above Okay, all right.
Huh.
Wow. I mean, this is going to be too hard to do on the spot, but like, wow.
Oh,
okay. Wait. So
I tell you, Luke wanted us to rank the hairstyles. There was like a video he watched of like
the Tom Cruise
people
hairstyles?
ranking the Tom Cruise hairstyles in every film.
I can do that. Absolutely. Wait. So how many? Wait, but some of them are the same, right? Like, can we agree on that? Like, we don't have to do every single movie, right?
I mean, I think the most similar one is, what is it? Rogue and Ghost are maybe similar enough, I guess.
No. No. Maybe I think it's longer in Ghost.
Yeah,
I was going to say
longer in Ghost. I think Ghost is one of the more noticeable ones, actually.
I think, in my opinion, there's long, Rogue Nation, and short. Those are the 3, in my opinion.
Oh, no, his hairstyle in the first one is way different from like Dead Reckoning, or like.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. No,
they're all slightly different enough. I think. Okay, if you're saying, yeah, like,
Okay.
I think they're different enough to be distinguished. Yeah.
I'll give you the first one. I don't think the 3 Fallout and Dead Reckoning are enough to rank separately. Are different enough.
I think 3 is definitely different enough.
I think 3 and Dead Reckoning are rather similar. I can't remember quite.
Fallout's similar again. In my opinion.
I think you can loop it in. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we can choose our own criteria, but I will undoubtedly say that the 3 short hair is number 1, and with that, I myself will loop in Fallout and Dead Reckoning. That short hair number 1. Mission Impossible 1 short hair number 2. Rogue Nation number 3. The really long hair number 4. This movie's length of long hair is definitely dead bottom.
This is shorter than Ghost Protocol, isn't it?
I thought it was pretty equivalent.
Yeah, well, this is. I knew you would be. I knew you'd go for the short hair, and it just complicates this whole discussion, because I just feel like you just like short hair too much. I feel like you're not being objective.
It's a fucking subjective ranking. What do you want
Yeah,
from me?
I know. I'm just saying. I knew this would happen. I knew we'd get
Yeah. No,
there.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the long hair makes him look older, especially in this one.
Or in this one,
Like
yeah.
he rocks
Yeah.
Dead Reckoning Part 1's short hair, dude. He rocks it.
Mm. But like, I think the Dead Reckoning short hair is very different to 3. Like the Dead Reckoning hair is like very it's very in place. It's not moving that much. 3 is a bit scruffy. 3 is still like action star Tom Cruise. Like it's not that mannered.
All right. Well, you can break them apart if you want. Which one's better?
I like Dead Reckoning. I do like the
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think 3 is that special, but you don't like 2? 2 was like the top of their list, the list that Luke was referencing.
Look, it's probably the best of the long hair. I'll give it that. But no. I mean, that only makes sense. He was the youngest, so. He was very luscious in 2.
I'd go with 1 as the best, and then Dead Reckoning.
Oh, who would have thought? See, I knew that. I knew that. That I knew.
Actually, yeah, and then 3, and then maybe 2. I'd probably put this one last, or maybe Ghost last. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really like Ghosts.
Yeah. No, we're pretty similar then.
Yeah, sure.
How much do you want to talk about the court stealing trailer, Fitzy?
We can talk about it for a minute.
Talk about it in news chat real quick here. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this looks interesting. I mean, it's a Darren Aronofsky film, but it doesn't totally feel like one. Like it's not like it feels like edgy and intense in its own way, but just in kind of like a crime thriller, like City general kind of way, not in a Aronofsky way. But it looks entertaining. It's a bit like, it seems a bit like wacky, a bit like Pulp Fiction-y, I guess. Matt Smith has a massive like mohawk. And there's like cool. Gangsters and of different ethnicities, of different bents. So it's kind of just like a wacky, looks like a wacky kind of crime comedy kind of thing. So yeah, like it looks very entertaining, very interesting. It doesn't at all seem like Aronofsky. It just I think the writer of the book is also has done the screenplay, so it feels much more like his product than Aronofsky.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it looks decent. Austin Butler looks good.
Yeah,
he does some cool action stuff as well in the trailer. So yeah,
I like the sound of that. Aronofsky stretching his legs by the sound of it. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically it. I just want to acknowledge that we accurately predicted Avengers Doomsday getting delayed. Just want to throw that out there because give us a pat on the back. You know what I mean?
It's now opening the same day as Dune Messiah.
Oh, is that when Dune Messiah's they've got it slated for?
Yeah, December 18.
Well, that'll definitely move. I'd be shocked if that's dead, but yeah.
How do you mean, right. Like as in like production wise, or you think it doesn't want the competition?
Oh, I meant well, definitely because of the competition, but I also don't know where Denis at with that. So
yeah, I was surprised when I saw that was meant to be opening that soon. I thought.
Yeah, I agree. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I don't think I've watched anything actually. Oh no, did I watch that? Yeah, I watched The Craft, which is this '90s kind of like camp film. I don't really call it horror, but it's about witches. I guess like it's in the horror vein. I think it's defined as horror, but like there's nothing scary about it. It's just more like kind of camp and fun. It's about this kind of like teen witches at school, and it's cool. It's enjoyable for the time, but there's not really much about it. I mean, I imagine the girls and the gays kind of get a bit more out of it than I do, but it was fine. It was good. No, it wasn't fine. It was good, but like it very much felt like a precursor for things to come for me. Like in terms of like kind of like the late '90s, early 2000s kind of high school horror things that kind of come after this just feel like they're a bit more fun, a bit more polished, a bit cooler. The guy that plays Billy Loomis in Scream is also in this one, but like is way cooler in Scream, and Scream's just like way cooler as like a kind of high school horror. Once again, very different because there's no witches in Scream, obviously, but yeah, it was good.
What compelled you to watch this?
Oh, I mean, the craft is iconic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I watched Light and Magic Season 2 on Disney Plus because it came out while we were away, so I caught up on that. And you're going to be into this, Jaden. Oh,
Yeah.
you're going to check it out?
Yeah,
I assume you
especially because Disney Plus has updated the way that their continue watching works. We can now actually finally get rid of things in your continue watching that you don't want to watch anymore. But then also it brought back like everything from the
popped it
past.
back up?
Yeah, so like that popped up as they continue watching as well.
Yeah, that's good. So the first season, like, if you watched it, had more like this one's only got 3 episodes, but the first one I think had like 6. And then the first few focused on the founding of ILM, and then like mainly the making of the original Star Wars is like their first thing. And then it kind of sped run the rest. Like you kind of got like an episode for like, you basically spent like 3 episodes in like the couple of years to make Star Wars, and then you spent like the next 2 like speed running like decades worth of stuff of like, oh, and then we did CG, oh, and then we did this, and then we did it, and then now we're here today. It's like, all right, cool. This really focuses on and digs into basically the time of the Phantom Menace and then the following decade. It sort of gives that same treatment that they did to the making of the founding of the company to the digital stuff and how they transition to CG is sort of what it's about mainly.
Okay.
Which is interesting stuff. So it basically starts with like the Phantom Menace and like George coming to them and what he wants to do for that. And then you get a lot of, that's basically the whole first episode is the Phantom Menace, which is great for me because it's basically like an extended version of my favorite documentary of all time, which is the making of episode 1. And it's basically like just an extended version of it where you get all this new George Lucas footage that's never been seen before, which is great. Any George Lucas footage from that time is incredible, and getting more of it is a treasure because it's basically just the most memeable stuff ever. It's like that whole documentary is like where all the George Lucas meme stuff came from, where, it's like, it's poetry, it rhymes, Jar Jar's the key to all this, like all those lines, which are hilarious. But anyway, so I was into that. And then it sort of just goes from there. And then it spends a lot of time on Pirates of the Caribbean as well. And like Davy Jones and everything they did for that. So yeah, it was interesting. You're going to be a fan of it. My favorite part actually was probably a big chunk of episode 2 was spent on Attack of the Clones and it being, something we've discussed before, but it being the first film shot completely digitally. Like time was spent on that, like how big of a deal that was and like what that meant and why George was doing it. And I just enjoyed hearing about all that and like, how he was trying to change things. And my favorite little tidbit from it probably was like they had this footage. I didn't know this, but like after the movie Attack of the Clones came out, George apparently held this summit of like, he invited like all his director colleagues, friends or whatever to come to Skywalker Ranch. And he basically had like an afternoon where he pitched them all on digital, and like
this is like Francis and like Scorsese and all that shit, right?
Yeah, and like Spielberg and who else did they say was like? I saw Robert Rodriguez was in there in the crowd.
Yeah,
and, like,
I think I heard about that.
So like basically like a ton of people came, and it was basically like George was like, look, this is what I've done on Attack of the Clones. This is the first time this has ever been done. Shooting a film digitally, projecting it digitally, and like here are the tools. and like he's basically trying to pitch them on like this is good shit. You should try this. And I just found that fascinating. And a lot of them obviously went, like Spielberg obviously totally embraced it from that, and among others, obviously not everyone, but it was just interesting, and how important he was in like bringing around that change. So in the industry today. So yeah, big fan of the season. It was good.
It's kind of crazy to think that Pirates of the Caribbean came very early in ILM's kind of foray into CG.
Yeah, absolutely. It was described. It was sort of like the documentary presented as like obviously Star Wars was like obviously as usual the foundation, but then like Pirates was where they had to really step up.
Yeah, I mean Pirates CG is way more impressive than Star Wars in terms of being seamless.
Yeah, absolutely. They talk about the water. Obviously, Davy Jones. Like Davy Jones was very much. They talked about how like obviously because Weta did Lord of the Rings around that time too, and obviously Gollum.
Yeah.
Like for them, like Davy Jones was like they were so that was Weta was elevating the game in that respect over there, and then so for them, Davy Jones was like their attempt to one up again.
Right.
It was all interesting for sure. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I watched Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty much what you'd expect, like in terms of both a Final Destination film and like a modern kind of horror. I mean, horror. Yeah, horror film. Just like like I think like the main appeal of the series is like what they do with the sets. It's kind of like set piece. They kind of set piece focused films, and like the actual deaths are like kind of what makes or breaks the films. If the deaths are interesting and kind of surprising, I guess. And they didn't really do too much in this one. Like, there's a few deaths that aren't that interesting, like like stuff with a lawnmower and like the glass and an MRI machine which like pulls people in and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was fun. They don't do a lot with the lore. Like they do some stuff actually. But like they don't really have. They introduce rules that they don't really use too much. Something does come back in the end, but it's not. There's not a huge progression in the series. Yeah, the film's just kind of very, very modern filmmaking, very modern horror, kind of digital glaze, So not too interesting. Yeah.
I don't know how you've rated the other Final Destination films, but like, is this like a total bottom, or where does this sit?
Well, I really like every other Final Destination film except number 4. Number 4 is really terrible. But
Okay.
So I guess this would sit lower. This would sit just above 4, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you give it a 6? Like just above 4? Like that's like double the score you gave.
Oh yeah. I think I've like. Didn't I give it a 1? Didn't I give 4 a 1?
Maybe
it was terrible. It was horrendous. But like, I guess it's interesting. Just like if you watch the whole series, you can just kind of see the progression of like filmmaking in general. Like the first one is such a 90s film, and then when you get to 5, it's just every film is like so of its era. They don't really venture outside of it in terms of the filmmaking. But I guess it's just cool to see that progression. But not much else to say really.
Nice, very cool. Did Spooky enjoy it?
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. I think there was some like this one it was a bit more gory, I guess. Like they had some CG sequences with like people's faces being squashed and stuff like that. So I think it was a little bit shocked, I guess. I mean, Final Destination I think is always surprising to people who haven't seen the films or aren't familiar with it, because they always think there's like there's going to be like an ex machina or something, or like there's always the belief that they'll survive, but they pretty much never do. I think the film plays well enough with that expectation. So yeah, I think he enjoyed it. He didn't really know what it was going in, but I think he gets it. He gets it now. I don't think he'll watch the other ones, but
yeah. I think, but like, surely you should watch one. I mean, like one's like one's.
Oh yeah, I think if you watch 1 and 5, I guess you go from 1 to 5. Actually, well, you should watch 2 as well, because 1, 2, and 5, I think would be like my
yeah, but 3 is Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
I know. Yeah, I don't want to, but I'm just saying in terms of the story.
Yeah, sure.
1, 2, and 5.
Yeah.
Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is a movie with a weak or underwhelming title, and can you come up with a better title for it? Dr. Luke said, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Yeah. And it should have been called Dumpster Fire.
Whoa.
Oh, watch out.
Whoa.
Yeah, that is kind of that's a lot. That's a lot of a title right there. And he said, Timothy Chalamet's Wonka. Rather bland, which puts me off from watching it. Should have been called Wanker. Agreed. Dr. Leanne said, very interesting and challenging question. A movie with a weak or underwhelming title is The Men Who Stare at Goats. The title gave me absolutely no clue as to what the film might be about. I watched it, but it was not at all enjoyable or memorable. A better but equally useless title might have been, this movie is not about continuously looking at goats. That is a weird title. That's kind of a title that that streams like a literature book, that like deep meaninged kind of title. You know what I mean? But like apparently not. So yeah, that is a weird title. All right. Decent answers here. Jaden, what have you got?
This one, yeah. So it kind of like with the direction of like wanting to properly represent what the film like is. So like instead of doing uncut gems, I thought maybe we'd do like uncut dog shit. You know,
here we go.
Like,
God, this question was not meant to just shit on films.
And then like
actually, I'm gonna do the same. Actually,
yeah. I had 3 more of these lined up, but then I felt bad, so I thought I'm trying.
No, please get. I've got like 5, so you can go.
I was trying to like find like a genuine one, but if you're giving me permission to go ahead, I picked on Agide because Andy just reviewed it, so it's there. Instead of being Agire the Wrath of God, it should be Agide the Wrath of Dog Shit Boring Long Film. Just uninteresting piece of shit that Herzog's done. And instead of the other guys, it should be the other dog shit guys, because it's so dog shit and bad, and you should be ashamed if you like that film.
Oh man.
Yeah, but in terms of a genuine one, I didn't really pick a genuine one. I apologize.
Interesting that if you're a studio executive, you would name all your movies things related to dog shit.
Yeah. I just think it's important to represent the product that you've made, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, if I'm piggybacking off of you and shitting on titles, you know what's an underwhelming title? Spotlight.
Kill yourself.
You know what it should be called? Dog shit, fucking generic, boring shit. That's what it should be called.
Oh my god.
Oh, we got to expose the true crimes of.
Bro,
already snoring.
The column is called Spotlight. You know, it's like what do you mean?
Yeah, it's the most generic name for a column ever. Can they call it like, you know, I don't know. Okay, I try not to say something offensive there. Anyway.
I wanted to say it too.
Oh god, that's the only one I've got that's actually dog and shit, to be honest. But no, okay, I've got some films I like, that have got kind of underwhelming titles. But you and I like this film called Our Friend from 2019. No one's seen this movie because of its title. I swear to God.
I've never heard of this.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's underwhelming.
It's got Dakota Johnson, Jason Segel, and Casey Affleck. It's a very great movie. Check it out. Basically, so literally, the letterbox, like, no one's seen this movie. Like, you know, not no one, but you know, It's got much lower Letterboxd viewership than it should have. I honestly think in large part because of its title. In terms of a better title, the movie's about cancer and how it sucks. So my better alternate title is Fuck Cancer. That's what it should be called. And way more people would have watched it. Our friend, and not into the title at all. Jaden, you should watch the movie though. It's very good. 13 Lives by Ron Howard. Movie reviewed on the show. Not into the title. It's kind of like, what is that? It's kind of weird. So I came up with, I don't know, Soccer Boy's Miracle. Soccer Boy's Miracle. You can even throw in, if you want to throw in Thai again. The Thai Soccer Boy's Miracle. Let's call it that. That at least represents it a bit better as opposed to 13 Lives. Oh, and finally, you know the Brie Larson movie Room?
Oh yeah, I was looking at that one. Yeah.
They just they just wanted to call it The Room. We know, so they should have had the balls and called it The Room. That's what I think. Room is like, what is that? Room? It's like, no, they're stuck in a room.
No, but doesn't the boy call it Room? Like it's actually like,
yeah, but you know they wrote that in just because they didn't want to call the movie The Room. Come on.
Really? No, I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree.
I don't think they were thinking of that.
Yeah.
I think there's no way if the film The Room did not exist and someone wrote this movie, there is no way they wouldn't call it The Room.
Isn't it based on a book?
Why would you call it Room? Why would you do that?
Yeah, did the book come before The Room?
Adapted from Room, yeah, it's from a book.
Yeah, when was that written?
In 2010.
Oh, there you go. Just saying. Hey, well, at least it's on the author then. I'll give it that. I'll give the filmmakers that. It's on the author. But I stand by the author.
I think Room as a title, I think it's apt because of the boy's mental state and like his kind of, and like he is the narrator of the film, right? Or like he is like
over a decade.
Maybe not a narrator, but like he is the perspective, I think. And it's like,
yeah, okay.
And so like framing it as Room because he calls it Room rather than The Room.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll stick with Thai Soccer Boy's Miracle then. How about that?
Yeah, good.
Fitzy, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, The Last Samurai should have been called The Last White Savior. You know, that'd have been.
Oh my god, that is.
But
they all die. He doesn't save anyone. Jesus Christ. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't really come up with anything. I guess Cargo.
Yeah.
I have a vendetta against Cargo, so I have to bring
I don't understand this either. I thought Cargo is a good name for that. Like,
I guess it is, but I just like it makes sense, like because he's
Cargo.
Terrible. It's like
you can call it anything Cargo if you go with that. Like, dude, The Last of Us could be called Cargo. It's like, it
very
makes
well
sense.
Could. Yeah.
No, but that's a shit title. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's good. It's a shit title. Call it something to do with Australia, you know?
Baby transporting across the outback. Is that
Bogan Zombies or I don't know.
Zombie Land.
Oh yeah. Zombie Outback Zombie yeah, I don't know. So anything but Cargo.
Yeah. I had another one, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I guess that's it.
What an underwhelming note to end the episode on, but okay.
Wait, let me just have a look for a second. Let me just. There was something.
I'll do the outro, and then you keep looking, and then you have as much time as I take.
Oh, how about The Final Destination? Final Destination 4, that is. Which is
God, yeah.
Didn't you watch that thinking it was Final Destination, Jaden?
Yep.
Yeah. Terrible title for that reason. Very confusing.
It's like
what was the double film we did?
Oh, Undertow.
Well, that's a bad title in itself, is it not? I mean, maybe for the
for the no, I think they both fit.
I don't. It's not great, but I haven't got enough beef with it. as a tie. I've got beef with the first movie, obviously, but
Very upset that you
It's
still
alright.
made me watch that.
sorry. That was 4.5 years ago to give context, but anyway. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and/or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, who is a side character? They could have their own unexpectedly good spin-off.
Maybe
Let
we
us
should.
know.
Oh no, don't worry. Okay.
What?
I was gonna say maybe we should have saved this if we did Ballerina, but she's not a side character. She's just introduced.
Mate, there is no better example than this than what we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah,
next
right.
week.
I forgot that we're doing that next week. Yeah, no,
Yeah, that is why. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing and/or. And/or. It's on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's like the prequel to like Rogue One. The prequel,
Which is the
series to
prequel to Star Wars 1977.
Yes.
Are you going to be doing Andor?
Yeah. I'm up to episode 5. Yeah.
Oh.
I finished the first arc. I'm on the second arc. So
he's talking in Andor terms. He's getting his head in the space.
Yeah. I'm appealing to that. Yeah.
That's good. Well done. All right. Very good. Check out season 2, and we'll be here next week. That's it for this week, though. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate Liam and Jana for joining me, as always. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.